Lieutenant Mike Harrison fidgeted with his neural implants control panel, trying to silence the ancient rock music that had been stuck in his head since the diplomatic transport landed. The Galactic Council's reception hall loomed above him, its crystalline spires reflecting the light of 3 setting suns. 200 of humanity's finest diplomats, scientists, and military observers milled around him, making polite conversation with various alien species. "Stop touching that thing," Ambassador Rachel Martinez whispered, shooting him a stern look. "The Zaxxari delegation is particularly sensitive to unauthorized neural activities. We don't want another incident." Mike dropped his hand, forcing a smile. The music in his head grew louder, something about fortunate sons and red, white, and blue. His grandfather used to play it during Independence Day celebrations, and now it wouldn't leave him alone. Just his luck to have a glitch during humanity's most important diplomatic event. The Galactic Council had finally agreed to consider Earth's petition for membership after 50 years of observation. Everything had to be perfect. Mike watched as Ambassador Martinez gracefully navigated through clusters of towering insectoids, floating energy beings, and what appeared to be sentient clouds of crystal dust. A sharp pain lanced through his temple. The neural implant's diagnostic screen flashed red in his peripheral vision. "System override. External broadcast initiated." No, Mike muttered, frantically tapping the override sequence. Around him, alien diplomats suddenly stopped mid-conversation. The crystalline beings shattered into shocked fragments before reforming. The energy beings flickered like disturbed flames. The music that had been trapped in his head exploded outward through the telepathic network that connected all Council species. Creedence Clearwater Revival's iconic guitar riff echoed not through the air, but through the shared consciousness of every alien present. But they didn't just hear the music. The Zaxxari ambassador, all 12 feet of iridescent insectoid grace, collapsed with a shriek. The horror, the mud, the blood, the endless explosions. Through their telepathic link, Mike caught glimpses of what the alien was experiencing. Helicopter rotors chopping through rain-soaked air, napalm turning jungles into infernos, humans charging through impossible conditions, with nothing but determination and fury driving them forward. The song carried more than sound. It transmitted humanity's entire military history, compressed into a devastating emotional package. Each alien processed it differently, but all of them felt the raw, unstoppable force of human warfare through the ages. Lieutenant Harrison. Ambassador Martinez grabbed his arm. "Shut it down." "I'm trying." Mike's fingers flew over the holographic controls. The systems locked up. The energy beams began to strobe violently, their usually controlled forms exploding into chaotic patterns as they absorbed centuries of human conflict through the lens of a single Vietnam War protest song. The crystalline clouds condensed into solid forms, trying to shield themselves from the psychic onslaught. Chief Observer Xelnak, the towering reptiloid head of the Council's Security Committee, raised all 4 arms in alarm. Containment fields. Full psychic barriers. Now, shimmering walls of energy sprang up between the human delegation and the rest of the Council species. The music cut off abruptly, leaving behind a silence heavy with implications. Mike finally managed to deactivate his malfunctioning implant, but the damage was done. Through the containment field, he watched Ambassador Martinez trying to explain to increasingly agitated alien representatives that it was just a song, just a piece of cultural history. "We have been blind." Chief Observer Xelnak's voice boomed across the hall. "These humans, they carry psychic weapons in their very culture. Every song is a battle cry, every melody a potential devastation. They don't even realize the power they wield." The emergency classification came down within minutes. Humanity. Category 1 psychic threat. Their music labeled as weapons of mass cultural destruction. As security drones herded the human delegation away from the panicking alien representatives, Mike caught fragments of urgent communications between council members. "Did you feel their warriors' resolve? The sheer emotional impact. If this is what one accidental song can do, we must contain them before they learn to weaponize this ability. Ambassador Martinez stood very still beside him, watching 50 years of diplomatic work crumble because of one malfunctioning neural implant and a century-old rock song. She took a deep breath, turned to Mike, and said with remarkable calmness, "Well, Lieutenant Harrison, it seems we've just discovered why humans are the only species in the known galaxy that combines music with warfare. Pity we had to find out this way." Dr. Amanda Sullivan leaned back in her lab chair, studying the holographic readings floating before her. The xenobiology lab at the Earth Embassy on Centauri Prime had been her home for the past 3 months, ever since the Fortunate Son incident had transformed humanity's position in galactic politics. "Playtest sequence 17 again," she instructed the lab's eye. "Focus on the Malorvian subject's neural patterns." The recording showed a peaceful Malorvian researcher, a being that looked like a cross between a manta ray and a sunset, experiencing Battle Hymn of the Republic for the first time. The alien's typically golden aura darkened to deep crimson as the music began. "Fascinating," Amanda muttered, marking timestamps. "They're not just hearing the music, they're experiencing full sensory hallucinations of conflict." Her research partner, Dr. Kexley, a jellyfish-like Lumerian, drifted nervously near the ceiling. After the first contact disaster, he was one of the few alien scientists still willing to work directly with humans. "The resonance patterns are unlike anything in our historical records," Kexley's translator chimed. "Each species processes your battle songs through the lens of their own martial history. For species that have never known war, the effect is overwhelming." Amanda pulled up another recording. This one showed a group of young Zaxari experiencing "When Johnny Comes Marching Home." Their crystalline exoskeletons had vibrated with such intensity that several of them developed stress fractures. But why? She wondered aloud. Humans aren't naturally telepathic. Our music shouldn't have this effect. A priority message flashed across her screen. Another underground alien music club had been discovered, this one on a remote mining colony. The authorities had found dozens of different species gathered in an abandoned mineral shaft, listening to Earth military marches. "They're calling it emotional addiction," Kexley noted, his tentacles rippling with concern. "Some races are becoming dependent on the sensations your music produces. The Galactic Council is threatening to classify human songs as controlled substances." Amanda stood up, pacing the lab. "It doesn't make sense. These species have their own music, their own cultural expressions of conflict. Why would human battle songs affect them so differently?" She queued up one more test recording. This time, it was a classical piece, Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture. The alien subject, a silicon-based Petrovan, had experienced a full tactical simulation of Napoleon's retreat from Moscow, despite having no knowledge of Earth history. "Wait." Amanda froze the playback. "Look at these neural patterns. The music isn't creating the visions, it's amplifying something that's already there. Every spacefaring race has some history of conflict, even if they've evolved past it. Our music is somehow tapping into those buried memories." A commotion outside interrupted her analysis. Through the lab's windows, she saw a group of protesters marching past, carrying signs in various alien scripts. The translation scrolled across her neural feed. "Ban human war songs. Protect our youth from Earth's psychic weapons. Music is mind control." Kexley drifted lower, his bioluminescence dimming. "The Council Security Committee meets tomorrow to discuss quarantine options. They're afraid of what might happen if humans learn to consciously control this ability." Amanda's neural implant pinged with another alert. 3 more underground music clubs discovered, 2 riots at alien universities, where students demanded access to human military anthems, and 1 case of a Zaxari meditation retreat that had descended into chaos when someone played Stars and Stripes Forever. She turned to her research partner. "Kexley, what if we're looking at this all wrong? The Council sees our music as a weapon, But what if it's actually a key? We've discovered something that crosses all species barriers, tapping into shared experiences that transcend biology. A dangerous key, Kexley pulsed warily. Look what happened to those protesters last week when they tried burning a cache of human music drives. The songs in the fire created a psychic feedback loop that had half the planet experiencing the Battle of Gettysburg. Amanda called up a new research protocol on her workstation. Then we need to understand it before fear drives the galaxy to do something drastic. Our music isn't just sound. It's humanity's emotional history encoded in melody. And for better or worse, we've just discovered that the rest of the galaxy can read that code. Colonial Marshal Jake Cooper stared at the emergency bunker's tactical display as red dots swarmed across New Montana's airspace. The Swarm Collective had struck without warning, their organic ships darkening the sky above the colony's main settlement. Hull integrity at 30%. His deputy shouted over the scream of stressed metal. The defense grid can't track their new bioships. They're moving too erratically. Jake watched another section of the colony's shields collapse. 10,000 colonists huddled in underground shelters, depending on him to save them from the hive-mind aliens that had already devoured 3 Outer Rim worlds. Daddy? His 13-year-old daughter Emma tugged at his sleeve. She'd been in the operations center when the attack began, helping with routine equipment maintenance. I have an idea. Not now, sweetheart. Jake keyed the command frequency. All units, fall back to secondary positions. Concentrate fire on their landing zones. But Daddy, remember what happened at first contact? How their music scared all the aliens. Jake froze. Images from the diplomatic disaster flashed through his mind. Aliens reeling from a simple Earth song. He looked at his daughter's ancient music player, a family heirloom she carried everywhere. What's on that thing, Emma? She scrolled through the playlist. Grandpa's old war movies collection. He said Wagner made everything better. Jake grabbed the music player, nearly fumbling it in his haste. Lieutenant Chen, patch this into the emergency broadcast system. Full power to all external speakers. Sir, the communications officer looked bewildered. The broadcast system is for evacuation orders. Just do it. The colony's massive emergency speakers, designed to be heard for miles during storms, crackled to life. The opening notes of Ride of the Valkyries thundered across the battlefield, echoing off the valley walls. The effect was instant and devastating. The swarm's perfect formation shattered. Bioships spiraled out of control, their hive-mind consciousness splintering under the psychological assault. Through the command center's windows, Jake watched alien vessels colliding with each other as each drone experienced a different human battle through the music. It's working. Emma bounced with excitement. Play the next one. Jake grabbed the tactical mic. All units, advance. Push them back while they're confused. The colony's defenders surged forward as March of the Valkyries gave way to Fortunate Son, then the Halls of Montezuma. Each song seemed to hit the swarm differently, disrupting their coordination in new ways. Their bioships began to retreat, many of them flying erratically as the music scrambled their shared consciousness. Sir, Lieutenant Chen's voice cracked with excitement. The swarm flagship, it's trying to transmit something. Static-filled screeching filled the command frequency, gradually resolving into words. Make it stop. The memories. The endless war memories. Your species fights with the weight of centuries. Every note carries death. Jake picked up his daughter's music player, thumb hovering over the playlist. You have 10 minutes to clear our space. After that, I start playing Wagner's entire collection. The retreat became a rout. Swarm vessels fled in panic, some of them still flying in spirals as the music's effects lingered in their hive mind. Within hours, the story spread across the galaxy. A single human colony had repelled the dreaded Swarm Collective with nothing but ancient battle songs. Later that night, after the celebrations died down and emergency repairs began, Jake found Emma sitting in the observation dome, watching repair drones work under the twin moons. You saved everyone, he said, sitting beside her. She shrugged, fiddling with her music player. I just remembered what you always say about humanity's greatest weapon. What's that? Our culture. She looked up at the stars. Grandpa used to say that humans put our whole hearts into our songs. I guess that's pretty scary if you're not used to feeling things that strongly. Jake's neural implant, pinged with priority messages from Earth Command, the Galactic Council, and a dozen other authorities. Everyone wanted to know about the colony's new sonic warfare capability. Things are going to change now, aren't they? Emma asked. Jake watched more messages flood in as news of the battle spread. Humanity had just discovered its most powerful weapon, and its most controversial. Yeah, sweetheart, I think everything's about to change. Commander Sarah West paced before the newest batch of BattleBard recruits at the specialized training facility in Colorado. 20 soldiers stood at attention, their customized neural implants gleaming in the morning light. Each had been selected for their unique combination of military experience and musical sensitivity. Welcome to Operation Songstrike, she announced, activating the holographic display. You're here because you've demonstrated an exceptional ability to project emotional resonance through music. In other words, you can make aliens see hell when you play Metallica. The recruits remained stone-faced, but Sarah caught a few suppressed smiles. After the New Montana incident, every major military force in human space had scrambled to create their own musical warfare division. The BattleBard Corps was humanity's answer to a universe that had suddenly realized Earth's cultural heritage was a weapon. Begin combat demonstration, Sarah ordered. The training room's barriers hummed to life, creating a contained environment for their alien test subjects, volunteer species who'd agreed to help humans understand their newfound power. Initiate Sequence 1, she commanded. Johnson, you're up. Private Jessica Johnson stepped forward, her neural implant connecting to the room's audio systems. The opening riffs of AC/DC's Thunderstruck pulsed through the chamber. The crystalline Zaxari observer immediately fractured into 1,000 shimmering pieces, its consciousness overwhelmed by visions of human warriors charging through lightning-struck battlefields. Interesting, Sarah noted, checking the readings. Rock music causes physical disruption in silicon-based life forms. Martinez tried a classical approach. Corporal Martinez projected Wagner's Flight of the Valkyries directly into the psychic plane. The jellyfish-like Lumerian diplomat began strobing violently, its translator squealing. The Sky Riders, the ancient horse warriors, the endless charge. Sarah tapped her datapad. As you can see, different genres affect different species in unique ways. Your job is to master these combinations. You're not just soldiers anymore. You're weaponized cultural attaches. The demonstration continued through their arsenal. Sousa marches that made hive mind species lose coordination, country music that paralyzed energy beings with visions of frontier warfare, and dubstep that scrambled quantum-based neural networks. Mom, Lieutenant Rogers called from the monitoring station. We're detecting unauthorized broadcasts from the Centauri sector. Someone's streaming Earth metal concerts to alien populations. Sarah grimaced. They'd been fighting a losing battle against black market music traders. Some alien species had become addicted to the emotional rush of human battle songs, while others saw them as tools of revolution. Show me the countermeasures, she ordered, turning back to her recruits. The aliens in the chamber activated their newly developed psychic shields. Your opponents are adapting. Basic harmonics don't work anymore. You need to innovate. Private Johnson stepped forward again, this time connecting her neural implant to those of her squad mates. Together, they projected a layered combination of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, Hendrix's All Along the Watchtower, and a Navajo war chant. The alien observer's defenses crumbled instantly. Even Sarah felt the emotional weight of centuries of human conflict compressed into a single devastating chord. That, she said, allowing herself a small smile, is why we're going to win. The enemy can defend against a song. They can't defend against the entire human experience of warfare. After dismissing the recruits, Sarah found General Richards waiting in her office. The holographic displays showed growing unrest across alien worlds, some demanding human music be banned as a weapon of mass destruction, others begging for access to Earth's cultural archives. The Galactic Council is concerned, Richards said without preamble. They're calling it cultural warfare. Some species want to classify Mozart as a war criminal. Sarah called up footage from the New Montana victory. With all due respect, sir, they should be concerned. We've spent centuries perfecting the art of putting our warrior spirit into music. We just never realized we were building an arsenal. An arsenal that's changing the galaxy, Richards noted. The question is, are we ready for what comes next? Through her office window, Sarah watched her recruits practicing their combinations. Human music had already evolved from entertainment to weapon. She wondered what it would become next. The underground concert hall on Proxima III buzzed with nervous energy as Dr. Amanda Sullivan watched alien teenagers slip through the security checkpoints. Her research had brought her here, to the heart of what the Galactic Council was calling the music crisis. They're getting younger, Officer Marcus Reed whispered beside her. The undercover security agent shifted uncomfortably as a group of crystalline Zaxxeri youth flowed past, their faceted bodies already vibrating in anticipation. Half of them looked barely past their species' age of maturity. Amanda nodded, making notes on her neural tablet. They're calling themselves the Thunder Generation, the first aliens to grow up exposed to human music. Watch what happens next. The lights dimmed. On stage, a young Malorvian floated forward, its usual golden aura darkened to match the mood. The alien raised its appendages and, to Amanda's astonishment, began to sing. When Johnny Comes Marching Home Again. The alien's voice wasn't perfect, but the effect was immediate. Ripples of psychic energy pulsed through the crowd as the Malorvian projected not just the song, but the full emotional weight of human military pride and homecoming joy. This is new, Marcus breathed. They're not just listening anymore, they're learning to replicate it. Before Amanda could respond, alarms blared throughout the complex. Emergency lights flashed as security forces burst through the doors, led by stern-faced preservers, the Council's Cultural Protection Unit. This gathering is unauthorized. Their synthesized voices boomed. The performance of human battle songs by non-humans is strictly prohibited under Galactic Law 447b. Chaos erupted. Young aliens scattered in all directions, some still humming human marches under their breath. The Malorvian singer was quickly surrounded by protective fans, its song rising to a defiant chorus. Clear the area. The preservers activated their psychic dampeners. These premises will be sterilized of all human musical influences. Amanda's neural implant pinged with urgent news alerts. Similar raids were happening across the sector. Authorities cracking down on alien youth caught performing human songs. But something else caught her attention. A massive protest gathering outside the Galactic Council's Cultural Preservation Center. Marcus, we need to move. Now. They'd reached the center just as the protest turned violent. Thousands of aliens from dozens of species had gathered, demanding access to Earth's musical archives. Counter-protesters clashed with them, carrying signs warning about the dangers of human emotional contamination. Your songs are weapons, a Lumerian elder's voice boomed. They corrupt our youth with dreams of violence and glory. Your songs are truth, a young Zaxxeri shot back. They teach us to feel what we've forgotten. The security forces moved in with sonic disruptors, trying to disperse the crowd. In the chaos, someone activated a cache of stored human music drives. As flames consumed the storage units, the songs trapped inside released their emotional energy into the atmosphere. The effect was catastrophic. Thousands of aliens, protesters, and security forces alike were suddenly caught in a massive shared hallucination. The burning of the music drives had somehow amplified the song's psychic resonance, broadcasting visions of the American Revolution across half the continent. Through her neural implant, Amanda watched in awe as alien minds experienced Patrick Henry's "Give me liberty or give me death" speech, the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere, and the shot heard round the world, all compressed into a few devastating moments. The sky sings freedom. The cry rose from the younger aliens as they witnessed humanity's struggle for independence. The phrase would become their rallying cry. Later, in her secure laboratory, Amanda reviewed footage of the incident. Her research partner, Kexley, had finally returned after being caught in the psychic backlash. "The Council is terrified," the Lumerian reported, his tentacles still trembling. "First your species teaches our young to wage war through music, and now they're learning to sing of revolution." Amanda studied the readings from the music drive explosion. "They don't understand. Our battle songs were never just about war. They're about everything we fight for. Freedom, justice, love, home. We poured our whole history into our music, and now the galaxy is learning to sing," Kexley finished. "And some of us are afraid of what will happen when the song becomes a chorus." Commander Sarah West stared at the classified footage playing across the war room's holographic display. The Earth Defense Council had called an emergency session after the theft of humanity's most dangerous musical weapons. The Silent Purity Front breached Archive Station Delta at 300 hours, General Richards reported. They obtained complete copies of the military symphony collection, including the enhanced Wagner compositions. Dr. Amanda Sullivan stepped forward, her face grim. "It's worse than that. Our analysis shows they also stole the resonance amplification research. They don't just have our weapons, they can make them stronger." The assembled officers watched as security footage showed the raiders, a mix of radical alien species and human sympathizers, methodically downloading centuries of battle music. Their leader, a towering Zaxuri whose crystalline form had been stained black by excessive exposure to human war songs, moved with terrible purpose. "This is Commander Excelthor," Sarah explained, former Galactic Council security chief. "He believes the only way to save the galaxy from human musical influence is to use our own weapons against us. Show them the simulation." Amanda activated a new hologram. If they successfully amplify Ride of the Valkyries using the stolen tech, the psychic backlash could drive entire species insane. Imagine the emotional impact of every human battle in history, compressed into a single moment and magnified 1,000-fold. "We've tracked them to an abandoned mining facility in the Carina Nebula," Sarah continued. "The front is already building their amplification array. We have less than 48 hours before they can weaponize the music." General Richards surveyed the assembled team. "That's why we're sending in our best. Commander West, you'll lead a joint strike team of battle bards and alien allies. Dr. Sullivan will accompany you to handle the technical aspects." Sarah studied the tactical display. The facility's defenses, heavy psychic shielding, and a small army of fanatics. "But that's not our biggest problem." Amanda highlighted a section of the facility. "They've lined the approach with quantum resonance detectors. Any human battle songs will trigger their early warning system. Then we go in silent," Sarah decided. She turned to her team. The battle bards stood ready, their neural implants upgraded for the mission. Beside them, a group of alien volunteers waited. Former protesters who'd realized the front's plan would destroy everything they loved about human music. "This is what we trained for," Sarah addressed them. "But we're not just fighting to protect our weapons. We're fighting to protect our culture, our history, and our right to share it with the galaxy." The insertion went smoothly at first. Their stealth shuttle slipped through the nebula's charged gases, electromagnetic interference masking their approach. The team deployed in perfect silence, using hand signals and encrypted neural links to coordinate. They made it halfway to the central chamber before everything went wrong. One of the alien volunteers, a young Malorvian, stumbled into a sensor array. The facility's warning system screamed to life as security forces converged on their position. In the chaos, Sarah heard something that chilled her blood. The opening notes of Wagner's masterpiece, but twisted and amplified beyond recognition. They're testing the weapon. Amanda's voice crackled through the neural link. The resonance is already affecting the local space-time. Sarah watched in horror as reality rippled around them. The front's amplification technology was working too well, turning the music into a reality-warping force. Through gaps in space-time, she caught glimpses of every battle humanity had ever fought. "Fall back," she ordered, but it was too late. The test sound wave hit them like a physical force. Human and alien alike dropped to their knees as centuries of warfare crashed through their minds. All except one person. Amanda stood in the center of the maelstrom, her neural implant glowing as she processed the chaotic data. "Wait," she breathed, her eyes wide with sudden understanding. "This isn't just destruction. The resonance patterns, they're showing us something we never understood about our own music." Sarah fought through the psychic assault to reach her. "What do you mean?" "The weapon isn't working the way they planned," Amanda said. "They thought amplifying the violence would break minds, but they didn't understand. Our battle songs carry something else, something deeper. We need to let them finish the test." "That's insane. The feedback could tear this sector apart." Amanda gripped Sarah's arm. "Trust me, sometimes you have to let the symphony play to its end to understand the true meaning of the music." The mining facility's central chamber pulsed with waves of distorted music as Commander Xelthor's amplification array pushed Wagner's masterpiece beyond its limits. Dr. Amanda Sullivan stood her ground, neural implant blazing as she processed the overwhelming data streams. "Everyone who can still move, get to cover," Commander Sarah West ordered, helping stun team members behind shield barriers. The altered music had ripped holes in local space-time, showing fragments of Earth's battles throughout history. "The resonance is reaching critical levels." Xelthor's voice boomed across the chamber. The former Council security chief's crystalline form had grown jagged with corruption. "Soon the galaxy will understand the true horror of human warfare." But Amanda wasn't watching the chaos around her. Her eyes were fixed on the holographic readings streaming from her neural interface. "The patterns," she whispered. "We've been reading them wrong all along." Through gaps in reality, she saw glimpses of humanity's greatest conflicts. The charge at Gettysburg, the landing at Normandy, the Battle of New Montana. But now, with the music amplified to its purest form, she could see what lay beneath the surface of every battle song. "Sarah," she called out, "I need your neural link. The battle bards. I need them all connected. You want to plug into that chaos." Sarah gestured at the fragmenting reality around them. "It'll fry our implants. Trust me, humanity didn't survive all those battles just because we were good at fighting. Connect everyone. Let me show you what I see." Sarah hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Within seconds, the remaining battle bards linked their neural implants into a shared network. Amanda closed her eyes and opened her mind to the full spectrum of human military music. The chamber erupted with pure emotional resonance as Amanda channeled centuries of human experience through their combined neural links. But this time, she didn't focus on the violence. She reached deeper, finding the true heart of every battle song. "Look," she commanded, broadcasting the vision to everyone in the chamber, human, alien, and even the front's fanatics. "This is what we really fight for." Through the music, they saw it all. Soldiers fighting not for glory, but to protect their homes. The courage born not from hatred, but from love. The sacrifice made not for victory, but for peace. Every battle song carried the full weight of human emotion. The grief, the hope, the longing for a better tomorrow. Xelthor staggered as the revelation hit him. "Impossible. Your songs, they're not weapons at all. They're memories," Amanda corrected him. "Every note carries the whole story, not just the fighting, but why we fought. The love of family, the defense of freedom, the dream of peace. You wanted to use our battle songs as weapons, but you forgot to ask why humans sing about war in the first place. The amplification array speakers crackled with new understanding as Amanda redirected its power. The chamber filled with the true essence of human battle songs, not just the thunder of war, but the harmony of everything worth fighting for. Sarah watched in amazement as the time rifts began showing different scenes. Soldiers returning home, enemies laying down arms, peace treaties being signed. The music swelled with hope, sacrifice, and the eternal human dream of a better world. Our songs were never about glorifying war, Amanda explained, her voice carrying across the neural network. They're about remembering why we fight, what we protect, and what we hope to build. The violence is just one note in a much larger symphony. The front's followers began lowering their weapons as the full tapestry of human emotional experience washed over them. Even Selthor's corrupted form began to clear, the darkness bleeding away as understanding replaced fear. "We thought we were containing a weapon," he said quietly, "but we were really fighting against understanding itself." Amanda nodded, maintaining the neural broadcast. "That's why our music affected your species so strongly. You felt the conflict but missed the context. Now you can feel everything. The whole human story, in all its complexity." Through their shared connection, Sarah felt the change rippling across the galaxy as Amanda's revelation spread through the psychic network. The music that had been feared as a weapon was finally being heard as it was meant to be, a testament to the full spectrum of human experience, from the darkest battles to the brightest hopes for peace. The grand concert hall of the Galactic Council sparkled under the light of 3 setting suns. Dr. Amanda Sullivan stood backstage, watching alien musicians tune instruments that hadn't existed 6 months ago, designed specifically to channel the emotional resonance they'd learned from human music. Ready for the big moment, Commander Sarah West appeared beside her, dressed in formal battle bard ceremonial uniform. First performance of the Interstellar Symphony Orchestra. Never thought I'd see the day. Especially not after they tried to classify Mozart as a war criminal. Amanda smiled, checking her neural implants readings. The hall was packed with representatives from every spacefaring species, gathered for what the council was calling the Harmony Accords. The young Malorvian conductor floated onto the stage, its aura shifting through colors that represented the full spectrum of emotion they'd learned to express through human music. The audience fell silent as the orchestra prepared to play their first piece, Evolution of Understanding, a Human Story. "They're nervous," Sarah whispered, noticing the slight tremors in the crystalline string section. First time mixing traditional alien music with human battle songs. "They'll be fine," Amanda assured her. "They finally understand what they're playing." The music began softly, alien harmonies that spoke of peace and order, the way the galaxy had been before humanity's songs changed everything. Then, gradually, human themes began weaving through the alien melodies. First, the battle hymn of the Republic, but transformed, carrying not just its martial power, but its deeper messages of justice and freedom. In the audience, Ambassador Martinez, who had been there at first contact when everything changed, wiped away tears as the music told the story of humanity's journey among the stars. Lieutenant Mike Harrison sat beside her, his neural implant now perfectly tuned, broadcasting pure appreciation into the shared consciousness of the gathering. The symphony swelled as more human songs joined the alien harmonies, when Johnny Comes Marching Home spoke not of war, but of reunion. Fortunate Son carried messages of questioning authority and standing up for belief. Wagner's once feared compositions became foundations for alien musicians to express their own species' hopes and dreams. Former Council Security Chief Selthor, his crystalline form now clear and bright, led a section of Reformed Front members in a movement that transformed Ride of the Valkyries into a celebration of cultural exchange. The music that had almost torn the galaxy apart now helped stitch it back together. Commander Selthor's redemption piece flowed into a stunning movement composed by the younger generation, the ones who had first seen the truth in human songs. Their music spoke of revolution, not through violence but through understanding. The infamous "Sky Sings Freedom" protest became a hymn of unity. As the final movement approached, Amanda felt Sarah tense beside her. This was the moment they'd all been waiting for. The premiere of the first true human-alien battle song, composed together to tell their shared story. The battle bards took their places alongside alien musicians. Neural implants synchronized with alien consciousness as the combined orchestra prepared for the final. The music that emerged was something entirely new, human emotional depth carried by alien harmonies, telling a story of fear transformed into understanding, conflict into cooperation. In the audience, humans and aliens alike found themselves experiencing shared memories. The terror of first contact, the wonder of cultural exchange, the chaos of conflict, and the joy of finally seeing the full picture. The music carried them through the entire journey, right up to this moment of harmony. As the last notes faded, Amanda's neural implant registered something unprecedented, a perfect synchronization of emotional response across all species present. For the first time, the galaxy wasn't just hearing human music, they were truly feeling it as humans did. The silence that followed lasted only a moment before the hall erupted in multilingual appreciation. Ambassador Martinez turned to Harrison, grinning. "Well, Lieutenant, I think we've finally recovered from your first contact glitch." "Better than recovered," he replied, watching alien children in the audience trying to hum human melodies. "We've evolved." Later, as celebrations continued across the galaxy, Amanda found herself in the Council's newly established Museum of Musical Understanding. The infamous neural implant from first contact sat in a place of honor, labeled not as the source of a diplomatic disaster, but as the key that unlocked a new age of galactic harmony. "You know what the best part is?" Sarah said, studying the display. "We never had to stop being warriors. We just helped them understand that a warrior's heart holds more than battle." "That's humanity's greatest strength," Amanda agreed. "Not our capacity for war, but our ability to put everything we are, the light and the dark, the peace and the conflict, into our songs." Above them, through the museum's crystal dome, the stars seemed to twinkle in rhythm with the music that now united the galaxy.